when will it end? I was at a new gym today, right? We checked it out. Somebody referred the gym to me. I won't say the gym name. But I went in the locker room, right, after a good workout. Did some chest, upper body workout. Had a good one. I go into the locker room, and it's a guy trying to put on a zip-up turtleneck. You know, a zip-up turtleneck, one that zips up like a jacket from the bottom to the top. But he's trying to put it on backwards. So he's reaching behind him and he hooks it and comes to me and asks me, can I zip him up? Can I zip you up? I said, hell no, I can't zip you up. What you're going to do is take that turtleneck off, turn it the right way, like a man, and zip it up yourself from the front. I'm not zipping you up from the back like you a woman, like a woman wearing a dress. So once I straightened him out, I took his cell phone and made him subscribe to Tank Commander Zulu and the Real Man Movement. I wish I would zip a man up from the back. Salute family. Tank Commander Zulu back at you once again and the Real Man Movement. Today we're going to be dealing with masculinity. Is there a such thing as new masculinity? Or is it just another attempt to put the feminine side of things into a man? Let's talk about it today, here at the Real Man Movement with Tank Commander Zulu. Fire in the hole.
Grandview middle. They hit on somebody. Number 79, Isaiah. See you in the play.
Salute family, Tank Commander Zulu back at you once again in the Real Man Movement. Before we get into the content today, which is the so-called new masculinity, I want to advise and ask everyone to become a subscriber to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I salute you for being on the tank with the Tank Commander. And if you're not, please join us here at the Real Man Movement. It's all about positive male enforcement, which is good for men as well as women. Back to the topic of discussion today. Masculinity, or the so-called new masculinity. Is there even a such thing as new masculinity? Let's think about that for a moment, right? What is masculinity, first of all? Well, masculinity is something that exclusively belongs to a man. It's a man's God-given right to be masculine. There's some components that's been given to us as men where we can't help but be masculine physically. There's testosterone, for one. That's the male hormone that runs the most abundantly in men. Females have a little bit of testosterone, but they really are made of estrogen. The total chemical makeups between a man and a woman are very different. But we're dealing with masculinity here. What does it mean to be masculine? We're living in a world today where the masculinity is being taken away from the man. And femininity is being injected into a man. And listen, I'm saying this because it's nothing but the truth. We have more men today who are becoming feminine than we do have men that seem like that they're holding on to their masculinity. Many of the men today seem like they're not holding on to their masculinity, which is a God-given trait of a man. You can't get around it. It's supported in the Bible. It's supported in everyday life. When you look at nature, you can see a male dog and a female dog. Well, they're both dogs, but there's something physically and chemically different between the two. A man is supposed to be masculine. Masculinity is something that, as a man, we should cherish. It helps us physically and mentally and even spiritually. And we're going to talk about that as we continue to go forward with the understanding of what masculinity really is. You know, as a man, I love my masculinity. And if you are a man, you should love your masculinity too. It's something that gives you the drive. It's something that gives you that ability to be dominant. It puts you in a place that is very different, but with this masculinity comes responsibility. And we have to learn how to balance those two things out. But one thing we never do as men, as real men, we never compromise our masculinity for nothing. We're living here in a world today where male masculinity is being challenged. It's even being looked at as something that is, something that's old, something that's not needed. It's not needed in the society today if we let the society dictate the terms of masculinity. Men dressing up like women and saying this is the new masculinity? Come on, man. No. Here at the Real Man Movement, we say no to that. To the new masculinity. So the so-called new masculinity, which have you wearing dresses, which feminizes a man. It puts the feminine qualities inside of a man that God took out in the beginning to make a woman. Society today is trying to put those same feminine qualities back inside of a man and rob us of our masculinity if we allow society to. But here at the Real Man Movement, we do stand against it. There is no such thing as new masculinity. No. There's only masculinity that is being challenged by femininity. That's it. Feminine qualities are being put inside of men socially, everywhere you go, which robs them of their masculinity. When you see men that are dressing like women and saying, look, I'm still a man, I'm a man. Okay. You may think you're a man. But what you're doing, you're instilling feminine qualities inside of your manhood that, once again, I'll say, were taken out of you. Every man, it was taken out of man when God created man and woman. I'm going to go from that perspective because it's just true. There is no such thing as new masculinity. It just doesn't exist. Masculinity itself, from the beginning, is the only thing that is acceptable. A man being a man standing in the place of a man, and a woman standing in the place of a woman. Masculinity is not when a man exhibits or pick up the traits and characteristics of a woman. Listen, that was separated from a man from the very beginning of his development. So there's no need for society to try to put the feminine side back inside of a man. Let's think about this. Now, listen, this is going to get a little deep for some people, but stay with me. Hang with me. Now, Tank Commander go get you where you need to go. There is no such thing as new masculinity. especially how society portrays it. If you are a man, you need to follow the characteristics that's already been given to you from the beginning of a man. That's what we follow. That's our examples. Men do not, no, you don't wear dresses and say that you're a man and you're representing new masculinity. No, you don't do that. You don't do feminine things and say that this is the new masculinity. No. No. We just can't continue to let people get away with this. We cannot continue to let society dictate how a man sees masculinity and how a woman sees femininity. They're two different things. There is no new masculinity. It's only masculinity. No new, you ain't got to add nothing to it or take away from it. It's only masculinity. And that's the only thing that matters. I love my masculinity. Say it with me. I love my masculinity. That's right. You should. As a man, because it's a gift. Just like a woman's femininity is a gift. It's something special to each of us, to the male and the female. There's no need to try to masculize the woman or to feminize the man. There's no need to do that. Why? Because in the beginning, it was already separated that man would be masculine and woman would be feminine. You know, we talk about this, think about it a lot. When you look at the scripture, and I like to read the Bible. I believe in those principles. But in Genesis chapter 2, verse 23, and I'm going to paraphrase this. God has created all these things for Adam, and Adam is naming the animals, the creatures. He's giving them names. But it comes to the point, Adam is put into a deep sleep. God sees something. He takes a rib from Adam, and he creates woman, which is known as Eve. Well, Adam sees it and says, he names woman now. He gives the name woman. God presents her to him. He gives her the name woman. Because when God put him into a deep sleep, he took a part of his rib. And from that, he created woman. Now listen, if you heard me say earlier that there was already a separation of man and woman, and this is the separation in the book of Genesis. Genesis 2, chapter 23. God saw that Adam was alone, so he created woman. But he put him in a deep sleep. He took a portion of his rib. And from that, he took that out of him. He made woman. He presented that to Adam. And Adam said, this is a bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. I'm going to call it woman. Because she came from me. She came from man. Woman. Difference. The woman was taken out of man. In the beginning, in Genesis, it says it there clearly. So now we live in a society where the instruction that woman was taken out of man and that they're different, this society wants to take woman that was taken out and put back in man, which goes against the principles of God. And not only God, it goes against the principles of practical existence. The separation was made from the beginning. Because woman is a part of man that was in him, that was extracted and taken out. Why are we trying to put it back in? It violates every principle that God produced. It violates the principles of the universe. So no, there is no new masculinity. No. There is only masculinity, for a man. And for a woman, there is femininity. We don't cross the two. It's no need to. Look at your masculinity today as a man. Ask yourself, am I allowing society to take away my masculinity? Or am I standing on sound principles and I'm enforcing my masculinity the right way? Love being masculine. We don't wear dresses. We don't wear feminine things. We stay in the place of masculinity. There's a separation. And if we honor the separation the right way, then we'll stand strong as real men. We'll always be a great and good example to those who look to us for counsel and guidance, direction. Because whether you know it or not, some young man is looking at you when you put on that dress and say you're a man. Some young man is looking at you when you put your lipstick on and say you're a man. It goes against the principles of God's divine order. Be a man today. Continue to embrace masculinity. There is no new masculinity. Let's not let actors or entertainers persuade us that there is. There simply isn't. And here at the Real Man Movement, we stand on principles. Principles of being a man in every area of our life. Look here, the world loves a man, a real man, baby. A real man is irresistible to the world. And that's what we are here at the Real Man Movement. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and shut the tank down. But before I do, remember to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. I need everybody to hit those thumbs up buttons. Because the more you hit the thumbs up button and you become a subscriber, the more that the message about the Real Man Movement can go forward. And we can rock together on the tank. And we can move forward and expand the masculinity in this world and make a stand. That's all we have today here at the Real Man Movement with Tank Commander Zulu firing the hole, baby.